Hello, hello, all of you out there. This is A Course in Miracles 365, Awakening to Love, and I'm Tomas Garza with a very, very deep and profound idea, two ideas, well, three, in fact, today. And I'm so glad that you can join me and feel welcome to pop into the comment thread here. This is live, and feel welcome to pop into the comment thread and say hello or ask any questions that you may have. I am here as a teacher, as a guide, and the spiritual path is very good at generating questions, isn't it? No matter how long you've been on yours, maybe your entire lifetime, it's really good at kicking up and generating questions. So if you've got them, if they're related to anything about your spiritual journey, your spiritual path, I'm happy to answer them. You don't have to be, incidentally, a Course in Miracles student in order to participate in this. This show is, of course, all about A Course in Miracles. However, what you'll find is that A Course in Miracles is universal by design. It's quite universal in terms of the themes that it teaches. It's quite universal in the way we apply these. And there's something in these live streams for everybody. So there's something in these recordings. And by the way, if you're interested in taking a look at a specific day's work or a specific lesson, then the YouTube channel for Enlightened World Network has a playlist with this show and actually all of the other shows on the network as well. So you can catch all of the wonderful programming, all of it heart-centered, all of it spiritual themed, and all of it, quite frankly, applicable to our daily lives, including A Course in Miracles. You don't even have to own a copy of the book or be a student of it to benefit from this. There's a reason you're watching this today instead of all of the other content that's available. So as the questions come in, I will take some time after the live stream is over to go back and go through those for you rather than do it right here on the stream itself. So definitely leave those. I do check this and the comment thread throughout the day. So that's the best way to reach me. And as always, if you have a question that's something you'd prefer not to share with a worldwide audience, then so be it. I completely understand that. That's part of what the spiritual path can generate for us sometimes. Feel welcome to reach out to me personally, and we can just chat one-on-one. No problem with that. That's always an option. So what is going on here in the workbook for students is that we've arrived at another review period. So as you've seen, each review period is different with different commentary and slightly different emphasis, slightly different ideas and suggestions for practice. Now, why are these different? Well, ultimately they're not, of course. However, we've arrived at a different stage of learning. Today, we're covering lesson 171. That means that you have done 170 workbook lessons. So that's a lot. And if you've truly gone through and made your best effort to study and practice these every day, then you will be in a different place. You are different. In other words, you've removed some very significant barriers to our awareness of love's presence. You've removed barriers to the realization of yourself, the capital S, who we really are. You're clearing the way for truth to shine through you. And of course, we're told, and we find in our own experience, that this truth, the truth, has never gone anywhere. We're just a piece at a time, sometimes gradually, clearing the obstacles to our full awareness of this truth, to our expression of this truth. This is what the workbook is all about. So the review period contains a very, very powerful idea. And as always, if you do absolutely nothing else today, recite this idea, commit it not just to memory, that's not enough, to commit it to your very being, the very fiber of your being. It is a statement of who we all are. And that is put quite clearly in bold before we cover the review idea here. So we're on lesson 171, and the idea that I'm talking about that precedes the idea for review is God is but love, and therefore so am I. God is but love, and therefore so am I. God is love only, nothing else. And therefore, so are you. So am I. Each of us is love. Capital L, you'll notice. Oh yeah, God is but love, and therefore so am I. So we're encouraged in this review period, which lasts for the next 10 lessons, by the way, through lesson 180 in the Course in Miracles workbook. We'll sit with this idea and sit with it, recite it and sit with it. The longer we're able to sit with this without distraction, and of course, thoughts come up, our email buzzes, we get notifications on our phone, maybe the phone rings, I don't know, right? Life comes at us, but the longer we're able to sit with this idea, the more we will begin to viscerally experience and feel the power of it. God is but love, and therefore so am I. So the idea for review, we're reviewing lessons 151 and 152 here in the workbook. Lesson 151 is something that I want to spend a few minutes talking about. It's very profound. All things are echoes of the voice for God. All things are echoes of the voice for God. All things. All right. So the voice for God, as you may know by the way of review here, is the Holy Spirit in A Course in Miracles. And this voice for God goes by many other names. It could be the friend, the capital F, right? The universal inspiration, your teacher with a capital T. And many people that adopt A Course in Miracles as their primary form of spiritual practice take the Holy Spirit as their teacher. I've done this, which means we listen to guidance from our teacher. So that is the voice for God. The function of the voice for God is to translate between heaven and earth, to put it that way. It's to serve as an intermediary. The Holy Spirit, the voice for God, understands heaven perfectly, hasn't left it. Yet we don't understand it here in the world perfectly. So our teacher, the universal inspiration, puts things to us in ways that we can understand, acting as a bit of a translator, if you will. All things that we see in the world, all things that we hear and smell, taste, touch, feel are echoes of the Holy Spirit. Everything that we see outside of us, apparently, right? It appears to be outside of us to us. We appear to be having what we call a human experience. Actually, human, I mean, it's a word, isn't it? Really, it's a word that we made up. Made up and agreed that it was going to refer to this thing. This thing. Yeah. I mean, really, how often do we pause in the midst of our extraordinarily busy 21st century lives and think about that fact, right? We find that we made all of this up. Everything that appears to be out there is an echo of the voice for God. It's symbolic of what's in our mind. What appears to be outside is symbolic of what's going on inside. When we experience stress, when we read someone's political rant or COVID-19 related rant on social media, when we read that and become upset, it's symbolic of what's really going on inside of us. To sum this up, what do we do about that? It's an opportunity for forgiveness. It's an opportunity for us to forgive and release the symbols of our unconscious guilt. The more we do it, the lighter we feel. Similarly, anything that appears outside of us that is beautiful, that we think is stunning and gorgeous and uplifting, is also symbolic. Now, what is this symbolic of? It's symbolic of love. It's symbolic of who we are as Christ. It's symbolic of who we are, in other words, as the extension of God, God's creation, the Son of God, the Christ, all of us, not just Jesus, all of us. Yeah. Everything that we see that's beautiful in the world, or hear a beautiful song or a piece of music or a bird singing, it's symbolic of our abundance. It's symbolic of our own internal, inherent beauty and limitlessness. It's an opportunity for us to give thanks and to sit in gratitude. Because as human beings, apparently, we alternate, don't we, between the good and the bad, the beautiful and the ugly. And we could be having a beautiful experience, and then we run out to the mailbox or we open our email and there's a past due bill notice, and you might become instantly depressed. Life has lots of fluctuations that way, lots of yo-yo moments, all the time, all the time. That characterizes, epitomizes, and frankly is what we call human existence. Up, down, up, down, up, down. Everything that we see is an opportunity for release. Pema Chodron puts this very, very nicely in her classic book, Start Where You Are. Many of you have read this. And this is a passage when I read this for the first time years ago that really, really struck me. It really stood out. And I wondered at the time, and this was in the 2000s, I wondered what it really, truly, actually meant. All things, she says, are opportunities for awakening. They're the raw material for our awakening. Now, having studied A Course in Miracles for the past 8 years and stepped out to teach it here in the world and share my experience with you, I understand what she's saying. Everything that we see is symbolic of what's going on inside. There are multiple opportunities for forgiveness and multiple opportunities to give thanks. Both. Everything is the raw material for awakening. And that is a summary of lesson 151 here. All things are echoes of the voice for God. Now, in practicing lesson 171, we then spend some more time. However much, doesn't matter. Just go deep. I mean, really deep with yourself. God is but love, and therefore so am I. Truth. God is but love, and therefore so am I. So are you. So is each and every one of us. So it's every living thing. No exception. There is no separation of any kind, remember. And this may sound all well and good. You may be having a different experience, but once you begin to experience the lack of separation, its non-existence, once you begin to experience wholeness, it's a game changer. You may know this from your own experience. There's no going back. And why would you ever want to? Next review lesson here, lesson 152. The power of decision is my own. The power of decision is my own. Okay, so for you, reciting this, the power of decision is yours. Nobody else can choose for you. This is liberating, folks. I invite you to see this for what it is, as a beautiful statement of your own power, your own authority. We, each and every one of us, is the will of God. We are the extension of God. God is but love, and therefore so am I. The power of decision right here, right now, is yours. I've said it throughout the live stream. I say it probably every time I turn on a camera and microphone and talk about A Course in Miracles. And I do it with great intensity because it is urgent. It is urgent. We have only the present moment. We have an opportunity to choose either love or fear, God or the ego, life or death. One is life itself, the other leads to the decomposition and decay of this thing that we call the physical body, and mistakenly identify with who we really are. The metaphysics of A Course in Miracles are very clear. It's simple and uncompromising. You have a choice right now. Do you choose love? Do you choose fear? One is real, the other is not. It's that simple. And the power of decision is yours. You own it. If you've chosen poorly and unwisely in the past, as we all have, right? Each and every single one of us has chosen the ego in the past. That's why we're here in the state or predicament, if you prefer, that you're in right now. That's why we're all here, because we've chosen fear. We have the opportunity to choose love right now. The present moment is the only time that exists. Past is gone, future's not here. Quite simple. Sounds simple, doesn't it? It is simple. That's why we repeat it over and over and over again. The power of decision is my own. I can pretend to give it away to people. I can disempower myself in any arena of life. And with the power of decision being our own, we can choose to run and hide, can't we? We can choose to run off and not answer the call that we're all hearing, and you're clearly hearing because you're watching me. Guys, I teach A Course in Miracles. If you've come to this point in your journey, there's something here that you need to hear, and it is tremendously uplifting and ultimately our salvation, that the power of decision is ours and we retain it at all times and cannot lose it ever, ever. We can choose not to exercise it. That we can do. It's like being asked a question, and rather than answer the question or give a false answer or a lie, we can concoct multiple ways to avoid answering the question. Now, answer it kind of half-heartedly. There are many ways we can do this in a conversation. We've all done it. The power of decision is ours. So when you make a choice to exercise this and be a spiritual adult, which is what's being asked of each and every one of us, and the call that you're listening to right now, understand that the power of decision is yours and you cannot lose it. This is so powerful. It's why I feel so intensely and strongly about it. It is my job to show up and teach, and I hope that you may be inspired to exercise this power, to claim it for your own and exercise it today. Do it now. Do it now. The reason I say that it is urgent is because why delay any longer? We've all delayed long enough. A long, long time. Been running around. What does it get us? What does it get us? It gets us round after round of cyclic existence. If you're studying Buddhism, samsara, gets us spin, 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 one lifetime after the next, with the opportunity in the present moment to learn all the lessons that we need to learn. Power of decision is ours. So I invite you to exercise that power, because you have it and you've never lost it, which I hope is exciting, should be exciting to you, because we all go through life sometimes feeling extraordinarily disempowered, do we not? We feel tiny, limited, less than, lack. We don't have to. Granted, life comes with the ups and downs, but the more that you practice your own spirituality, the more you claim this power of decision as your own, the lighter your life will be, the more of a sense of your own limitless you will feel. Limitlessness. You're completely limitless. Each and every one of us is. God is but love, and therefore, so are you. You. We recite this: God is but love, and therefore so am I. All right, thank you so much for tuning in here today. I'm going to check the comments here in a few moments, and I hope that this is something that is inspiring to you. And if you have questions, please feel welcome to leave them here in the comment thread, and I will take a look at all of those. Guys, have a great rest of your day, and thank you, as always, for joining me here. It's a pleasure for me to be here with you.